What's up, guys?
Hello.
Welcome to another live. We're here with Miss Jody from Pacific Rim Mortgage. Today, what are we talking about today? Let me double check this.
Interest rates.
Interest rate, the market crashing,
Market crash. Question mark.
and addressing some comments and questions that you guys left last week on the last live. So before we dive in, we can start there. So let's see. Castelvetro 1491. So 500 square foot apartments are way overpriced for what you get. I'm a fan of you guys, but prices on the island are bonkers. Well, one, thank you for being a fan of us. But you know,
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive here.
yeah, it is. And it agreed. People are going to have that same sentiment as you, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I can only get a 500 square foot
Right.
apartment for that price. But where else are you looking, right? Like, of course, if you're looking in like Texas or
Yeah.
Virginia or something, yes, obviously you're going to get like
Nevada,
way more.
Florida.
You'll definitely get way more for that same dollar that you'd get a 500 square foot apartment for here. But, you know, you're looking in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And it's
Space is different. We talk about when people are moving here, and we work with a lot of people that are moving here. And it's like, you have to be prepared to downsize.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared that it's just a smaller area.
Yeah.
It's literally mileage wise,
Yeah.
square footage wise.
Yeah.
It's smaller. And so there's less to work with.
Less to work with, no opportunity to expand and make it any bigger than it already is, guys. This is it. The island is as big as it's going to get.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, I'm local, right? So I did not come into this with any sort of bias of like, oh my God, everything's so small and everything's so overpriced.
Right.
Like, this is just how we grew up. Like,
Yeah.
we just know that this is how much these things cost. And we just know that our houses are small, and we just know that our washer and dryer are outside.
Yeah.
And like, you know, these are just things that come with the territory of living here. You know, a lot of people have an expectation of the type of home that they like, the type of square footage that they're used to. And I would challenge you to throw that out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to realize that you're working with an entirely different, it's just a different universe.
Yes.
So I've told this story on here before, or at some point in time, which is like, I went away for undergrad and graduate school to play soccer and, you know, to graduate too.
Yeah.
But every single day from when I came home and started my company, I wake up and I'm like, thank you, God, universe, spirit, whatever, for finding a way for me to be able to be here and stay here and, you know, have a livelihood.
Yep.
Because it's not easy. And for me, there's a lot of sacrifices that I would give up in order to be able to be here.
Yep.
And it's not for everyone.
Yep.
But just, you know, being that I am born and raised here and my family is here and all that stuff, like, I mean, for me, I would give up a lot of square footage.
Yeah.
And pay a lot more.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a challenge that a lot of people have, and the decision that a lot of people make. And we cannot decide for you what is overpriced and what is worth it to you. That's entirely a personal opinion. And, you know, it really depends, like, what's your emotional situation? Well, how badly do you want to come here?
Yes.
Do you just, you know, oh, I like it. Am I vacation there? So I, you know, whatever. Or is it like, no, that's where I'm called to be. I'm supposed to be there, or my family is from there, or whatever the case is. And a lot of the time it's just like, these are just the things that we're going to make happen.
Right. And I've met people that there's just like something about them. They're not born and raised here, but they have a connection to Hawaii. And you can see it, like my one of my best friends, she came through college. Summer came and spent summer with me here, and came again for spring break and just stuff like that. And she came home with me a whole bunch of times. And she literally was like, I
Yeah.
love it. Like, I need to be here. And
Yeah.
after she graduated, she moved here.
Yeah.
And there's something about Hawaii and her connection to it that makes it, where
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you want to be in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then, there's other friends too that have come and stayed, and they're like, no, I mean,
yeah,
it's not that special.
It's not for everybody. But then for the people who it is for, like, we're willing to sacrifice a lot to make it happen. So totally understand the sentiment, can totally see where you're coming from, it feeling very overpriced, but it's really depends who you ask. We're a very different thing here. And the premium is high for the thing that we are. So I'll answer something that I just saw pop in here real quick. What do you do rental management as well? We don't personally handle property management. We are a sales team. We specialize in buying and selling. However, we do have clients who need help with that. And we do have properties that we also need help with that of our own personal properties. So we do have people that we refer you to, trusted partners in property management that we can connect you with. So what else was from
and
last
that's really
week?
important.
Yes, it is.
I've had my dad has worked with a bunch of different property managers, and honestly, I mean, we've had super ultra conservative property managers that have been in the business for a long time, and them being like, it's just slow right now, and then another guy that I know that he's more of a solo guy, and he does have a great little portfolio and a ton of experience. And I was like, just, I mean, could you try to get it rented? I just want to know, right?
Yeah.
And it's like 2-3 days.
Oh my God.
So it's just different in like who you're working with. Obviously, I know you guys have vetted out anyone that you're referring to, but it's a huge difference. And then on top of that, when something comes up, it's like, man, when something comes up, you really need someone that's going to be able to take care of it.
Yes. Yeah. Which I'm not capable of doing. So I'm looking into property management because I'm like, I mean, I live here. I could self-manage, but I'm like, nah. No. Dealman 3312. Great to hear your take. Been in RE for over 10 years. Hawaii has always been isolated from mainland price swings. Maybe you could make a future video on Waikiki. So Waikiki video is still TBD. We've dropped a couple of nuggets in the area, but we haven't done like a full on Waikiki video yet. I'm gonna leave that to Derek because his dad was a Waikiki Beach Boy. So that's a special thing that will, if and when we do finally drop a Waikiki specific video, it'll be a very special thing. Hawaii has always been isolated from mainland price swings. So let's talk about that a little bit. I would say we are not immune to the price swings that you may see in the national market. However, we do tend to be, again, because we're such a small thing, because we're such a low supply, high demand by nature, depending on cyclically where we are in the market, we may have more supply than other times, but by nature, we are a lower supply, higher demand market simply because of how finite the amount of land and housing is here.
It's the numbers. And then on top of that, it's the culture.
It's the culture, things that you cannot get anywhere else.
Right. And there's families that will do whatever it takes to keep it in the family.
Yeah.
And so that's why, the birth of multi-generational living, which I've heard that it's definitely on the rise in the mainland.
Multi-gen? Oh, okay.
Way more so than ever before.
Oh, yeah.
Like before it was like, you live with your parents. Like,
oh no, yeah. I mean, even if you just like watch videos on Instagram, you're like, oh, these people live with their parents, and like, oh, these people are having their first kid and saving for their first house, or they're building like an ADU on their parents' land.
Which before that was like way like, no.
Not the norm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I think it really is. And, it makes sense. And especially for like, again, our grandmas that bought a house for $19,000, which is what my grandma bought for her property. That's probably 2 million plus now.
Yeah.
Right. Like we can't lose that property.
Yeah.
So whatever it takes.
Yes.
That's what has to be figured out.
Yeah. So, yeah. And also point being that we have such special we have such a special niche, nuanced market that it does keep us a little bit insulated,
Right.
where we may not experience things to the severity that other markets are feeling them, nor do we feel them for as long as some other markets are feeling them. Because at the end of the day, in a downswing, you're still Hawaii is still this very special unicorn type market that really just, there's nothing else in the country that you can really compare us to. Nothing behaves the way we do. So very interesting. Okay.
And but there's definitely like your pockets, right?
Yeah.
Like way west.
Yeah.
Or on Maui, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like the super vacation type areas in Maui where like those will swing because they're more so owned by mainlanders. I mean, they're not owned by locals. And then if you go way west, it's because that is what will become available the most in a time of these market fluctuations.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we got some comments in here. Condos on the island are not moving. That's from Alan Adelson. We were actually going to talk about that today because we are, our team likes to kind of nerd out and look at market stats and just check out the data. We have meetings twice a week where we brainstorm and mastermind together just to kind of look at things. We're actually going to have Derek, your brother Derek, come in and like expand on that conversation with us. We like to put our heads together and kind of observe what we see happening, because Mililani is an interesting market in Oahu where we have lots of micro markets, microclimates. We just have lots of different little pockets that do different things. Mililani is one of those that usually does pretty well.
Yeah.
Because it is good school districts for your kids. If you're looking into public school, that's, highly coveted for that reason. It's very central. So it's an easy commuter town, kind of like regardless of where you're commuting to, it's middle of the island. And as we experienced in the recent tsunami scare, like the place that everybody's going to go to because it's the highest elevation in the middle of the island. Right. So lots of reasons why it's targeted, but we are kind of seeing some condos there that like a couple years ago would not have sat for as long as they are.
Yeah.
The inventory is a little bit higher and the pace with which they are moving is a little bit slower right now. And we're expanding more on that of like, how come? Right. I wonder what it is, because it's not like rates are entirely different than they were, nor, last year it made a lot of sense to see condos really, really slow down because we had all these HOA insurance issues that were, developing and becoming a real thing for everybody. And we've seen HOA prices increase. Now we're sort of like trailing off from that drama and seeing a more stabilized, like, okay, these are what the prices look like. And they have already made their adjustment instead of it being like, oh, shoot, this like volatile thing that we don't know what's going to happen after we close. Now it's kind of like we know what's happening. So in my brain, I'm thinking like, oh, well, shouldn't it be like people just being normal then? And just shouldn't this like well-performing market just be performing well then? But we're, it's taking still a little bit of time for those things to happen because why? What do you think?
For me, I mean, there's just been so much news about, okay, now there have been statistics that came out with the poor jobs report and the consistent inflation coming in lower, that now the Fed is saying that they will plan to decrease rates before the end of the year. And so I don't know if that had an opposite effect on people that were looking aggressively. And now they're like, well, let's wait till the end of the year now. Even though I've talked about this, Derek has talked about this because he always talks about it in terms of like the baked into the market thing.
Yep.
So like if we know that rates are going to go down in the September meeting or the November meeting or whatever meeting that now the probability says that rates are going to go down, then it's baked in today's pricing.
Yeah.
And so now is actually the time that we're seeing the improved interest rates.
Yeah.
And so the problem is that once we get to November or September or whatever month it is, and then if that expected change doesn't occur, then it's not that rates are going to go down or stay the same, they're actually going to go up.
Okay.
And it's such a, Derek almost gets irritated when we talk about it. He's like, oh, okay, there's going to be no rate change, but then rates go up, right? Versus like, even if the Fed does what they say they were going to do, then you're telling me that rates are going to stay the same. That doesn't make sense. But yes, it does, because now that the market thinks that rates are going to go down by the end of the year, those adjustments have been made.
Yeah.
And so by waiting, I've talked to some people that are like, should we wait until, and I'm like, no, we shouldn't, because you want to get your closing costs covered by the seller. And so if we wait and until all the other buyers jump back into the market, then you're not going to be able to get your closing costs covered by the seller. Yeah. Right. So you shouldn't wait. Again, it comes down to affordability, understanding your numbers, and understanding that alignment between the cost of the property you need to buy, need to / want to / that stuff, and being alignment with your monthly payment. Yeah. Less about the rate.
Yeah. There are so many different, what are they called? There's so many different like measurements to base affordability on. And people really, really hone in on rate like it's the be all end all. And Jody already touched on it, but things like somebody, Amen Kamal, you already kind of answered some of this. Should we be timing the rate cuts for September? Too late, Powell. Is he making it difficult for an opportunity to be looking in Hawaii market? Will deals be better if rates drop to 3.5 or lower? Like for who? Who will the deals be better for if rates drop down to 3.5? Yes. First of all, that's not going to happen.
No.
Second of all, though, if they did, if rates got lower, a seller now is going to have a little bit more power than they do now. The leverage of all of these buyers getting off the bench and returning to the market removes our leverage on the buy side to go for the throat on these sellers.
Right.
And what else happens when rates go down? More buyers come to market, more sales happen, more comps happen, prices go up, the values of properties go up. So yes, the rate is lower, but what are all of the implications of that? From a more holistic standpoint of like what actually happens to the market, what actually happens when a rate is that low. It's not just that your rate is low, is that everybody comes back to market, competition begins to be fierce again. You do not get closing costs covered. You do not get to ask for things at the home inspection. We get denied on repairs and credit requests all the time. I was in that market, like that COVID wild 2-3% market where it was really rough out there for our buyers to be even looked at. You had to be committed to doing the most. And people, you talk about this one question of like, oh, 500 square foot thing is so overpriced right now. Like in that type of market, it's like, I don't care. Like this dump that needs the most work, like I'll take it, because what can I get? Like, what can I actually be accepted on? For our VA buyers who may have low or no down payment, it was very hard to get consideration and to get, into the market, because now it takes more things like cash, like it takes, committing to paying over the appraised value. There's a lot of things that happen on a macro standpoint from just a rate going down. There's a lot of different implications of that for our buyers. So if you are waiting, I want you to pay attention to and speak to Jody about like, what does my financial snapshot look like right now?
Yeah.
If it looks good, great. And then when the rates if they do go down, then it'll be even better.
Right.
Talk about that, like refining and like how long people can look into refining, or like, if they're like, oh, I'm hesitant about like, buying right now, because what if the rate comes down next year? And, so yeah.
So we've talked about strategizing on utilizing this market, getting the most you can get from the seller in terms of closing costs covered, or even what we touched upon last week, which is the temporary 2-1 buy down, which is just getting an artificially lower interest rate for a short period of time. So either 1 year or 2 years. And then basically, because you have that advantage of being able to get the most from the seller and you're already buying within your affordability window.
Yes.
That's great. And so now fast forward 12 months or even 7. So the requirement is that you do have to make 6 on-time payments. But once you have made 6 on-time payments, you're within your window to be able to refinance. And while there are costs associated with refinancing, in most cases, you will recuperate those costs in 1 to 2 years.
Yeah.
So if you're saving, $300 a month, $500 a month, and you didn't have to pay anything out of pocket to save the $300 to $500 a month, then it's pretty much a win-win. And the other thing about the refinance, which not everybody knows, is depending on timing, you'll either skip 1 payment or 2 payments. Yeah.
Okay.
So like that alone right there, if your payment's $3,000 and you're skipping 2 payments, that's 2 months of $0 outgo. That $6,000 can be used to offset your costs when you're figuring out an ROI, a return on investment, on if it does make sense to do this refinance. And for a lot of people, we do talk about making sure that you are making the right move, right?
Yeah.
So the other day I just talked to someone, one of our buyers, our past clients, and she was like, I want to refinance now because I just want to lock in this rate. We were going to be able to bring her down almost 1%, so 0.875. And I was like, I'll do it. If you're like, if you don't do it, I'm going to go work with someone else.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is I just want you to wait like 3 more months.
Yeah.
And so she was like, okay, fine. Like, let's do it. And I said, but obviously I'm going to keep watching the rates. And if data comes out that makes me feel like we're in a window that we might miss, obviously I'll call you and I'll lock you in today and be able to move quickly. Like that's the benefit of our team, is because we can pivot real fast.
Yeah.
But just based on, so we're always going to have that strategic conversation. You're always going to have the numbers so that you can have confidence in numbers, which is what I always say. And we're going to be able to talk through that ROI to make sure that refinancing makes sense.
Yeah. And then the other thing, just so that you guys are aware, is when Jody is talking about a buy down or like a 2-1 buy down that she talked about, this is the market for that, because that has to be paid for via a seller credit.
Right.
Like some buyers will be like, oh, whatever, I'll pay for that.
Right.
And then I'll buy my own
rate
rate.
into that program.
I'll do that. I'm like, okay, well, unfortunately, the way that works is that has to be via a seller credit. So you have to be offering on the right property with the, the right things in place in the right market for that to be accomplishable. So just other things to think of when the rates maybe are not as low as we would like them to be. There's other opportunities at play as well. Darren Yuki Hiro, aside from getting the monkey mortgage payment off my back, is there any upside to paying it off? My mortgage rate is 2.25 and the interest I earn on the money I'd use to pay it off is higher.
Then absolutely not. That's just numbers telling you the answer. Some people that are very risk averse, they have this inherent like anxiety. I mean, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like this need to be free and clear, right? And so for those people, it's worth it. You're not going to yield as much because now you've taken that money and you've reallocated into your asset, which is your property. But because I know, and I've talked to them numerous times, and I know the type of negative impact it has on their day to day, I'm like, it's worth it. Pay it off. Like, just do it. Right. Yeah. But if you're like comfortably making your mortgage payment and you have that beautiful 2.75% interest rate, let your other money work and earn more. Right. Like that's 100%, like hands down.
Okay. Bankers here this is from Johnson Rep. Bankers here on the mainland are saying even if the Fed lowers rates, banks won't be lowering interest rates to buyers until the Fed drops by at least 1.5 to 2%. So buying now is best for sure. That's from Johnson Rep.
Well, there have been improvements just in the bad jobs report that we had a week ago, 10 days ago, that did lead to improved interest rates. So we are seeing improvements based on the leading indicators and these expectations.
Okay.
So
again, with the baked in stuff. Yeah. Roughly what are the rates right now?
They're pretty close to where they were last week. So I just had that pulled up. So conventionally, we're 6.375 to 6.5, depending on FICO score and down payment. FHA, VA, we're right about 5.875 to 5.99.
Okay.
It's good.
Better than when I bought.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. Neil Brum. Aren't there proposals from the current White House administration talking about privatizing Fannie and Freddie without government backing? How would that affect borrowing?
Yeah. That is something Trump wants to do. And I don't, it'll be not good. Rates will be higher. There is still a ton of support that the government is artificially the backbone of many of the mortgages that are being closed in the billions. So if we completely move away from that and the government is not going to back that, then that's one piece of the puzzle as far as what's going to happen to interest rates, right? Because if the government doesn't buy that portion of the mortgages that are being closed, it'll be left, there will be less demand. And when there's less demand, then something has to become more attractive for the rest of the investors to want to buy these mortgages. And the way to make it more attractive is to have a higher yield, which simply means that rates have to be higher.
Right.
The flip side is that there are a lot of added, what are they technically called? I don't know what they're technically called, but there's basically pricing adjustments that occur, and they are being added on by the government for Fannie Mae to support Fannie and Freddie. Okay. So those would go away theoretically. And if those went away, those are increasing rates in it of itself. Right. So just a first time home buyer, 5% down, 700 FICO score, there's these little pricing adjustments, right? So it's like, ooh, you have a 780. So I only have to add an eighth to your pricing, right? It's like, oh, you have a 720. So I have to add a half to your pricing. And this isn't in rates, but this is in points. So those theoretically would go away. And there have been arguments for Fannie Mae to remove some of those because some of those were placed on back in 2008-9. So we're like,
let's loosen it up a little bit. Like, okay, guys, like we check their income now. Like, can we loosen this up a little bit?
Right. And so, I don't really, it is something that Trump has talked about, but I don't, it's a big endeavor.
Okay. Polly Chen, I have a lender that sees a listing / property requiring a rehab loan. Why is another lender willing to do a 30-year fix? Is that concerning?
What is it?
I think it's saying one lender sees something and says that needs a rehab loan, and another says, he can do it for a 30-year fix. Is that concerning?
I would say no, as long as you can vet out the lender, because one of the things I always say is not all lenders are equal.
No, they are not. Yes.
Everyone works within their own wheelhouse of what they can and cannot do. And so I know for a fact that I have closed conventional 30-year fixed on properties that other people have been told, like, there's absolutely no way you can get a conventional loan on that. That has to be a rehab. So that's your exact scenario. And so, I would say if your lender is a trusted lender and that they have, decades of experience and just, reason to believe that they are going to be able to come through and they can articulate why it is that they can get, why they feel that they can get a 30-year fixed rate versus a rehab loan, then yes, 100% that scenario could easily exist.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Darren, again, after you pay off your home, do you really own it if you still have to pay property taxes? I hear you.
I mean, 100% yes.
Yes, you do.
And I mean, but you own it. Yeah. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. And there's nothing that's going to happen where if you default, the bank could place a lien on your property.
I mean, pay your taxes.
Well, but yes, you have to pay property taxes. I mean, and property taxes go to good usages. And so, I would have to argue that when you're paying your property tax, you're not just paying into this death hole of nothingness. Like you are paying into like maintaining the roads and traffic lights and, putting up the speed bump at the new roundabout or whatever it is. But, property taxes are totally valid. Yeah.
Let's see.
And, nothing's going to say that maybe in the future, you might not re-pull out some of your beautiful, amazing equity that you own for whatever personal reason that you and your family may have. Whether it be sending kids to college, a wedding, upgrading,
that's so close.
Renovating.
Sending the kids. I just like had a mini panic attack about that the other day. I was like, oh my God.
I know.
That's like a couple years away.
Yeah. Dylan's going to be a freshman.
Oh my God. My daughter's a junior.
I know. You're way closer.
And it's freaking scary. I'm like, you better lock in.
Yeah.
It's like, lock in now, Joey. We got to make sure you write a bunch of essays, get your essay writing practice on. Okay. Condo crazy. Condo resale units in Ward are really slow with many listings below assessed value or below what the seller paid. Do you think that property value will go up long term once all of Ward has been built out? So the market is slower right now. It is. It just is. Condo resale is no exception to that. And even Ward, which is a super niche, very, for the most part, mostly luxury area, is no stranger to that. However, I feel, and this is my opinion, that, one reason is it's currently being built. So when you are a resale and you're a relatively new resale, meaning you just bought a couple years ago, yes, for the most part, that's like the best time to squeeze the forced appreciation is right after you buy something because you're buying it for lower than it would have been sold for, if that building were built the next year. Sure. Yes, that is all true. However, you also now have, high price luxury homes that are resale for a high price, competing with now brand new buildings that are being built at the same time. So, there's a little bit of a give and take with that of it, the next building is going to be more expensive, but I mean, they're not that dissimilar in price point at this point where it doesn't make sense for some people to just wait.
Yeah.
The difference is that it's a long-term wait, right? So that I have clients, Ben, Christine, they don't want to wait 2-3 years to enjoy their property. They want to enjoy it now. So that early resale, well, it's like a little bit higher price than they would maybe want to pay right now, considering there are other new things coming out. However, they don't need to wait 3, 4, 5 years to actually enjoy that property. And at the end of the day, it is a, 14 building community, and it will be done building at a certain point. And once it is built out, it is built out. And then, you're not going to be competing with Howard Hughes or Ward continually building new things and releasing new units. Like it'll just be what it is. So I do feel like, I personally feel that it, at the end of the build out will be, values will start to pick up again. We're in a weird kind of funky time for condos in general.
Yep.
But long term, for pretty much most things, knock on wood, I can never say all or guarantee you, but it's a Hawaii market. You wait long enough, the thing will do the thing, you know? And Ward is a very interesting one. All new constructions are going to have, over time, especially something that is small and has an end in sight for when that will be developed. And it's such like a niche, unique thing. Like they're putting like a Michelin star yakitori restaurant in there right now. It's like such like a thing, like when it's done, it's done. It'll be premier. It'll still be right there, they've just finished that like walking bridge. You can go over to the ocean now. So, give it time. Right now, they're all competing with one another, but and that's the thing about a resale. It's like, if there are other ones like it being built, then a very recent resale is like, oh, maybe I just wait for a new, you know? So you are experiencing like a different kind of competition in there. But once you are no longer competing with yourself, with other units just like you, it'll be a totally different story. Yeah.
And that's something I do like to talk about with our buyers when you are considering buying into a new build, into a new build community, because I want someone that feels really good about holding on to their property for 10 plus years. Again, depending on the trajectory of how long they're going to be constructing, because that is not there. There's not a established neighborhood where you have your organic cycle of sales that are naturally occurring, because most of the other people that are buying in this new build community, they're not planning on selling in 3 years. I mean, dang, they just got in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you buy in a new build and then you're the first to sell, you're not going to make very much money.
Yeah.
Like you're not. So that's something really to think about versus buying into a established neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you kind of just already know what it's doing. Or like even in Ikena, we just sold, which went above asking, multiple offers. And that's because, they're building a ton in there, but that was the last of that thing that they were building.
Right.
So this is just like a bunch of luxury buildings that are coming up. So you're just going to have to kind of like time that and have, set appropriate expectations for what the value of your home's going to be doing as the community is being built. This is for you, Jody. Michael Lotta, is there a provision for first-time buyers to be someone that had a mortgage but then rents for a period of time? Like, so they're not really first-time, but they have not been in the market as a buyer for a long time.
Not if you still own.
Okay, not if you still own.
Even if you let's say you bought property A, and then you moved out, and now you rent that, you still own it, but or let's say your mom moved in, or you're renting it out to anybody, but now you're also renting for 36 months or whatever amount of time, and now you want to buy, and you want to buy, you would absolutely not be a first-time home buyer. But if you sold property A, and you didn't own for a 36-month span, then you're a first-time home buyer again.
Okay. Forget about it. Are there a lot of VA assumable houses in the market right now, or is that rare to see? I ask because it seems favorable assuming a rate at 2 to 3% versus 6 to 7%. I wouldn't say that there are a lot, but they are out there, and they are marketed. I feel like you're going to see a lot more in we see a lot more in abundance in like the Eva and Kapolei area. And keep in mind that if you're looking at something that has 2 to 3%, be careful of the market that it's in, because certain pockets will have more of an effect on your what needs to come out of your pocket to assume that rate. Like in an Eva Beach, maybe the value hasn't gone up quite as high in the last few years since the 2 to 3% rate. So maybe the cash that you need to bring to the table. And I say this because in an assumable, you're only assuming what is left on the loan. And that number very rarely equals to what the purchase price is today. So years go by, appreciation happens, XYZ. So now let's say they currently own 700,000, but the home is worth 1.2. You're bringing the rest of that money to the table. So we need to consider that. Something like a home in Kailua, which had experienced like tremendous amounts of like appreciation or inflation, whatever you want to call it, that cash gap that you need a bridge to assume that rate, that low 2 to 3% rate, is like very high.
Yeah.
It can be a lot higher than, a property in Eva Beach or something. But by and large, the lower the rate is that you're trying to assume, the bigger the cash gap is going to be. So be prepared and go to Core Team Hawaii, fill out the contact form. If you are in a position where you're starting to get active and actively looking, and you have a timeline in the near future and you want to learn more about assumables, we can have more of a discussion about it, because there are a few caveats. It's not just, oh, this is a great rate, I want to assume it. I'm like, there are some things that you need to do in order to get that premium rate. And it's usually pay a premium. So another one from, let's see. Oh, this is the one I never know how to say it. I always want to say do a rave, but I'm sure that's not how you say that.
I think it's Doa.
Doa. Anyway, when buying a home in Hawaii with simple fee for the lot the house sits on, is the simple fee already added into the cost of the home, or is it an extra fee? So when we see listings online, they either say fee simple or they say leasehold. It's built in. If you see leasehold, it's super cheap, and that's because you don't have the fee. Like maybe you can buy it, but maybe you can't. Sometimes you just can't, and the lease is expiring soon. But if you see fee simple, that's built into the price point, and it's why it's way more expensive than a leasehold property. Leaseholds are very, very a lot lower in price point. They very rarely make sense or work for anybody as a sound investment. So if you see something that looks, a lot of times it's on Kahala Drive.
Yeah.
If you see something that you're just like, oh my God, like that is insane. Yeah, it is. That's insane. And that's a leasehold. And you know, sometimes you're paying an HOA for it, you're paying the monthly lease rent for it. The lease is expiring, or, you know, maybe there's a renegotiation coming up and that lease rent is going to go higher. But they depreciate in value year over year. So not the best for wealth building.
Right. And to add a little bit more color to this, which I had a pretty good conversation with a buyer that really helped bring it home as far as like leasehold fee simple.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you see a property and it's fee simple and it's listed for $800,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you see a property almost identical and it's leasehold and it's available $300,000.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then most likely, if the fee was available to purchase, to make it a fee simple property, which would be really cool because now all of your restrictions that occur because it's a leasehold, which is like the term of mortgage that you can actually do, is very condensed with a leasehold. If you purchase the fee, now you can just do a regular 30-year fixed loan, right? But I would bet on that the cost to purchase the fee is going to be about $500,000.
Yes. Okay. And then you're like, I'm buying that headache. Might as well just go buy the $800,000 house.
Right.
Yeah.
So 3 plus 5 equals 8. And now all of a sudden we have an apples to apples comparison between the fee simple and the leasehold.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the other thing is like, the lease isn't always available to purchase, as Mahe said. So if that's a risk, so if you're let's say you inherited $300,000 and you're like, that's fine. I'm gonna buy the leasehold and then I'm gonna get my bearings, get my job. You know, within 5 years, I expect that I'll be making XYZ, and then I'll be able to buy the fee. There's no guarantee you're gonna be able to buy the fee.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's definitely diligence that is required before investing in the leasehold property.
Yeah. When the lease is available, can you wrap the, you can.
Yeah.
Okay. She can finish my sentence.
So we would do it as a fee simple purchase. So you would be purchasing the leasehold property, which would be one purchase contract.
Oh.
Yeah. And you would be buying the fee, which would be another purchase contract, but we would do it simultaneously within one escrow, and we would do a beautiful 30-year fixed rate.
Okay.
Which we've done.
Okay.
And that's great. I mean, then now you are buying a fee simple property. Yeah.
Timeline differences?
Yes, because we have to wait for the leaseholder to execute. And so a lot of times it's like, oh, they're in this country, or there's 10 of them, or there's this, that, or the other. So signatures become a thing. But for the most part, I would say not more than 10 days extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So that's not too bad. However, if they're apples to apples, I personally am not dealing with the headache. I'm just going to buy the other one.
Yeah.
The fee simple one and not worry about it. But, you know, if it works, it works. But a lot of the time it doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. What would the reasons, what would be the reasons an HOA would decrease, and how often does that happen? We don't see that happen very often, but we are seeing that happen in one property that Derek and Aiden are selling right now. And actually, I'm not even sure exactly what it is. Did they renegotiate their insurance or something? Is that what they did?
It could be a lot of things, right? It could be there was a special assessment, and now that special assessment has been paid and it's done. And so now all of a sudden you go from like 1,000 a month to like
the important thing to note
800.
about that though is a special assessment is not part of the HOA. It's just in addition to, it's another payment on top of that. So the HOA fee is probably the same and increasing how it's own, but then there's another payment attached to it. So that can fall off. But we are actually seeing some like where the regular fixed HOA is the maintenance is going down now.
Yeah. And that's because, I mean, that's budgetary, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a budget that every single project has, which are like all of the expenses to maintain all common areas, all the parking attendant dude, the landscaper, the pool cleaner, any maintenance related thing, the master insurance policy, all that stuff. And so as things are occurring that are, if any of those expenses are going down and there aren't any upcoming big items, there's no need to have this massive surplus.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why an HOA would go down.
That's another reason why I feel like you should participate in your HOA board meetings and things like that, because sometimes something like that can be the case, but you like need X% of the homeowners to vote for that, to make that decision. So like, it's worth it to pay attention to, you know, what it is you're buying into, because maybe you can be a part of that vote that will decrease your maintenance fee.
Yeah. Understand the budget.
What? Neil. How long before we hear what types of properties will be available, if any, at the new Aloha Stadium? I actually don't know anything about that. Years, Derek says.
Decades?
A decade. We'll put it on track.
Didn't they say that the Aloha Stadium is going to be done by 2029?
Yeah, but when did they say the rail was going to be done? I was going to say like, yeah, we do that.
Right.
Okay. Who knows? We don't have no hard timelines.
Yeah.
We can conjecture decades, but maybe 2029 or maybe 2059. Who knows?
In the 20s.
In the 20s. You mean in the 2000s?
In the 2000s.
Okay. 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 The black?
Yeah. This whole time I was waiting for white
Oh.
outside, black in here.
Oh, I didn't even notice it when
No, I noticed something was
I
different.
said in the text message, well, I like it better than whatever color it was before it is right now.
I love it now that you mentioned
Anyway,
it.
guys, put it in the comments how much you love the black paint behind us so that Derek doesn't feel like he wasted money, because now he's like, hey, how come you never noticed? It looks great, guys. Derek,
I love it.
It looks amazing and good choice. Yeah, good choice. What? There's been, you know what, you guys, thank you for participating today. There's been like so much action in the comment section today. Forget about it. Nope. So did I hit everything?
Darren, you can
Darren, the last one. Should it be concerning if new builds are being put back on the market within 2 years from the first buyer? Using Ho'opili as an example, since I saw a bunch of them come a couple months ago. I wouldn't say it's like necessarily concerning. There, like for instance, we had a seller who just sold in Ho'opili. A couple years, was it 2 years? Pretty much exactly 2 years, yeah. And no, nothing was wrong with the house. It was pristine when they left it to, but they, made different decisions, had another kid, wanted to be in a different school district. There's just,
I won't hijack the whole thing, but I think you got to look at the attrition rate of a community. So lower attrition rates and like places, certain pockets of Mililani or whatever, you like might see like a 2 to 3% turnover per year. So for every 100 homes, 2 or 3 are selling.
yeah.
In Ho'opili, I bet you the overall attrition rate is still fairly low in the single family area. But compare it to Eva as a whole. And if we were to do that, I'm sure it's not too alarming. It's just maybe more alarming or piquing your interest because it is new construction. And you think, well, no one should sell for many years, but life happens, right, Jody? Like divorces, you've been in business a long time.
PCSs,
just, we have clients who bought and then we're just about to leave, right?
Yeah.
And we sold one of the Ho'opili ones.
Yeah.
So that happens irregardless. Even if they're the most perfect homes and they love them,
Mhm.
a percentage are gonna move even when they're new.
That's
And
the
so
nature of our market here in general.
I bet you it's still on sub 5%. And so
Yeah.
single family. Maybe we'll bring it up and we'll
Yeah,
let you
that'd be
know.
an interesting data point. But yeah, like Derek said, Eva Beach is just one of those areas that gets targeted a lot for our families that are coming in not for a long time. Like,
Yes.
you know, especially like our military PCSing families. They just got the kinds houses that like you would expect to have, you know, for the price
Right.
point. It's just you get more bang for your buck. The houses are bigger. They're newer. They have AC, you know, all those things. But at the end of the day, they are not always retiring here. Maybe they are going to their next station. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's alarming. I'm not alarmed by it. It's something that we see in the market, and it is just a higher turnover market in general.
Yes.
Yeah. But I do, yeah, if we looked at the data, I would think that Ho'opili specifically is a lower data point than just Eva at large.
Yes.
For that. Yeah. Oh, soy sauce boss said, tell Derek it's fire. Looks good. Needs a design, not black. I'm gonna go ahead and tell him that. Thanks, Michael. I love a black wall. Ash, what's up, Ashley? All right. I think we are all caught up on the questions. Thank you guys again for your participation today. We always love when we're not just like sitting here like, oh, what should we talk about? That's why we do these. Not everybody is like ready to have a consult with us. Not everybody is ready to talk to Jody yet. Not everybody is sold on their decision to come here. Maybe you're waiting on orders. Maybe you don't really know. A lot of that type of person can really, really benefit from coming and hanging out with us on Tuesdays. So if you're seeing this after the fact, if you're not quite ready, your timeline is a little bit further out, but you do have questions, you want to rock with us in the future, join us for these lives on Tuesday between 10:30-ish. And usually we're starting by no later than 11:30. We try to come on around 10:30, but come hang out with us, come drop us questions. You can talk with us live. A lot of times we have Jody on with us. And you can also leave us questions to answer later because we are here every Tuesday. So if you're ready for that consult, coreteamhawaii.com, fill out the contact form. Our assistant Charlotte will reach out. If you just have some questions for Miss Jody here, let Charlotte know. Hey, I have financing questions. I want to talk to Jody, and we can hook you up with her as well. But any news on the empty home tax that's being proposed? Actually, I don't know if there's any news on. I don't think that there has been anything.
I think it died.
Did it? Well, we'll learn more, but nobody's talking.
Sure
it's not like a thing that we're it's not on the docket of conversation. So, you know, who knows? It may have died, but
I think I read something that said that it was only going to impact. Well, I mean, I say only, but it was like less than 1,000 units or less than 500 units. And they were like, really, do we want to do this whole thing? You know?
Yeah.
Let's circle back to that.
We'll circle back. Thank you for the question. We'll do a little bit more research. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.